Hey everyone, it's Brian from Your Paranormal. Hey, listen, it's probably been a while since we got to sit down and talk about questions, Paranormal 101, Paranormal 201. A lot of things have been going on in my personal life as well as in my paranormal career. So I wanted to fill you in, and we're just going to make this kind of like a long form question like type thing, and then we're going to go and answer, trying to catch up on some of the stuff that we were talking about, Paranormal 101, Paranormal 201, etc. So let's begin. Number one, where has your paranormal been? We've seen that you've been posting some scary games Saturdays. What's going on? Have we stopped giving paranormal advice, etc.? Okay. With the recent pandemic, I have been not forced, but it was my decision to shift a lot of my emotional capital and a lot of my time into my career. And so, of course, whether it's this passion project, Your Paranormal, or my career, it's going to be my career. As well as with the pandemic, we weren't able to put on as many investigations, so that kind of slowed us down as well. But, here we are back, and we already did one investigation in October, and we're planning to do 3 more by the end of the year. So we're all excited about that. We have been able to squeak out a few scary game Saturdays, and I was able to find some time to edit those and put them on just so we have some weekly content. But I want to let you know that that's becoming more regular, as well as the Scary Game Championship. I don't know if you can see that back there, the belt right there. A lot of people have been wondering, Brian, I know you're playing Scary Game Saturday, but where is, real ghost hunters play real scary games. But where is the championship, the 15 most scariest games out there? These ghost hunters are taking them on. Where are we at in that process? Well, as you know, we did number 15, which was Layers of Fear 1, and we have just filmed with my good friend Francis and I, we filmed number 14, which is, drum roll please, Soma. So that's all completed. I just got to render all of that and get it out there. Cut it up in nice consumable video, so that's all good to go. So where did you go last time for the investigation? That's another good question. So we went back to the haunted nunnery, but we have access to the haunted school grounds as well. So imagine this. You can have a nice paranormal investigation at just an old nunnery, but now you have access to the school, which is set up into a big portion, a smaller portion, almost like 20 yards away, and then you have the nunnery, which is almost like across the street kind of, but it's on the same side of the street, you just walk there. So there's really 3 locations all in one investigation. It's pretty cool, so we have access to that. We have keys, so it's a really good opportunity. Really, really excited about that. So this is going to be more regular communication between us, you and I, and our group and you. And we're going to be kind of, long form answering these questions here on Fridays. So we're going to try and pump them out and, just get excited about things. So, all right. In terms of, what's been going on, like I said, a lot of our members have been hit by the pandemic. A lot of us have been focusing on careers, but I just want to let you know that we're back on track. In addition, I have become the co-host of the podcast, which was formerly known as Into the Abyss. But since I became the co-host, we renamed it to Our Paranormal Podcast, which is kind of like Your Paranormal. It's kind of where the name originated from, because it's all about our paranormal community. It's why it's Our Paranormal Podcast. So me and my good friend Sean, Sean's been doing Into the Abyss podcast for almost a year now. And so we have the full capability of all of that access to that paranormal community, so we're able to spread the Your Paranormal message, everything that we're teaching everyone. We're having some fun, real ghost hunters play real scary games. We're out here teaching people real life examples, not just showing, evidence and whatnot, but showing the real techniques of the investigation. So we're excited about that. I got the No Shave November going on. It's November 11th, so we're all excited about that. So let's get into some questions. The question is, what are paranormal tours? Where do they occur? And how can you best utilize them? So, most of the time when you do a paranormal investigation, you will have a tour guide that shows you around the grounds. Say it's a haunted school, or say it's a haunted prison. They'll show you the tour, which includes the history there, maybe some rumors, and kind of the general layout of the location to kind of help you plan where you put the static equipment. Your recorder can write down the different things that happen. Say there's some shadow figures reported in the East Wing, for example, or maybe trigger names such as Annabelle or Laura or something like that. Your recorders can write it down and then utilize those names on EVP sessions to kind of spark some interest. But tours are really fun. The only thing that's, quote unquote bad about tours is sometimes they can last a little too long. If that's the case, as the leader, you want to try and cut it off or say, hey, look, we're trying to stick to a schedule. Can we make the tour close to 30 minutes? And of course, they'll always go over 5 or 10 minutes. But I think overall it's a good time, and it really gets your members excited about the investigation. So tours are always fun, especially if you have a really nice, good, and personable tour guide there. You're going to have a great time. So that's the tour guides of paranormal investigation. A lot of people say, Brian, you led like a college group. How do you get guest speakers or old veterans of the paranormal field and get them to speak to your group? This is a really easy process called, you just email them. Go ahead and go to their website or go to their Facebook, message them on Facebook, go find their email on their website, just reach out to them. Email, direct message, call, text, whatever you got to do. Of course, do your research. I think when you learn from the veterans of the paranormal group, some people have done 100 investigations, 200 investigations. Everyone's got their own techniques. Everyone's got their own philosophies and their own stories. And I think you can learn a whole heck ton if you actually go and you listen to them. And just, in terms of a group, it brings a tremendous value, especially in today's world where you could just Zoom meeting them. You can have a monthly meeting or a quarterly meeting with your group where typically, you come on and you talk about paranormal topics. You talk about where you want to go for the upcoming year, for example. You can bring a guest speaker in and then just have them talk for 30 minutes about their experiences. You don't got to hold them too long. I mean, of course, you can invite them out for an hour or so, but just be mindful of their time and attention, as well as the time and attention of your own group. But if that's something that you want to do, I think it's tremendous. I think if you just consume any content that they release, it's a really, really good idea. So especially in a college group, where we had monthly meetings, I always wanted to bring guest speakers because some of the people, they've never even been on an investigation. Having the different groups come out and talk to the members gets them really jazzed up and really breaks up the monotony of talking about the same topics in the paranormal. So using phones as static camera, static audio recorders. Okay, a lot of people say, Brian, do I have to buy the $30 or $40 audio recorders? No. I am a huge fan of making sure that you don't use your phone during an investigation. I think putting it on airplane mode, do not disturb, is the best thing you can do. And a lot of people don't like that rule. They like to have their phone. I think there's just too much interference, or too much, people can get off topic on their phone. There's a buzz there, you think it's paranormal, it's not. Or, during the breaks, instead of your team members talking to each other about the investigation, they'll be on their phone. It's just never good. You don't want to have your phone on you. So what you do is you literally just take your phone, you put it on do not disturb airplane mode, you open up your recorder application, and you could put it anywhere throughout the location. And that way you just save $30, $40 for your group, and you have that audio file. Those members can send it to the group leader, and then you can archive it, and they could even have a little piece of the investigation on their phone forever. I think it's a win-win-win. No distractions, you get to save money for your group, and they get to walk away with a piece of the investigation. So that's how you would use a phone as an audio, like a static audio recorder. And it goes the same way, like instead of just using the audio recorder app, you put it on video, and then you can, like if you were using an LED light, you can use this as a static cam as well. Just be mindful of the individual's phone's storage. So that's the best thing. Compasses. I learned this from my co-host, Sean, when he ran the podcast Into the Abyss, of course now with Our Paranormal Podcast. He was talking about old school equipment. I think when you dive into old school equipment, it's a fantastic opportunity. And he talked about compasses. Where can you use a compass on a paranormal investigation? Well, you could use it in a lot of scenarios, but I'll just give you two to keep it basic. Number one, you never want a naked static cam. So when you have a static cam, like a static video camera, maybe down a hallway, maybe pointing on a bed in a bedroom because there's a lot of activity going on there, you can put a compass visible in sight, and if the compass starts to go haywire, there might be something paranormal there. Or something paranormal happens before or after the compass starts to go crazy. I mean, that just kind of backs up the credibility. So that's the first way, because you never want naked static cams. You never want to just put a static cam in a hallway or a room and not have a trigger object there. Something that a ghost could knock over or play with, in terms of like any trigger objects like dolls or something like that, if there's any kids in the area. And compasses also fits the bill, because if the compass is visible in the camera, it could spin around and go crazy, and then you're good to go. You've potentially caught something paranormal, so that's great. The other thing is just carrying it around during the investigation, like during EVP sessions. You can have the recorder be writing stuff down and periodically checking the compass. If the EVP tech says, hey, if there's someone here with us, can you make a really loud noise? Or can you just give us a sign that you're here, and the compass starts to go haywire? I mean, compasses don't typically do that. And that could be a sign that you're, dealing with something paranormal. So those are the two basic ways that I would use compasses. I think in terms of dinners for groups, we're talking about weekly, bi-weekly, let's just make it simple. Monthly, quarterly dinners. Paranormal, monthly, quarterly dinners. You got a team. Maybe there's 10 people, maybe there's 20, maybe there's 30. You might consider opening up, getting together every month, getting together every quarter, and just sitting down for dinner. Because a lot of people, they'll be so caught up and invest most of their time in investigations, which is good. Before, after, and during investigations, you really get to know someone. But I think having a time where maybe, you just have dinner, maybe talk about some paranormal topics, or maybe you just get together in general and just BS. I think having like a team monthly dinner or a team quarterly dinner really kind of helps bring the spirit up of the group. And I think overall your members are gonna be closer because of it. You're gonna get a more quality time during the investigations, and more people are gonna feel more comfortable. So that's kind of the goal, especially when we're trying to grow a group. We always suggest, hey, have you considered implementing a monthly or quarterly dinner? So a lot of people, they're in their little niche, right? They've got their group of 10, 20, 30 people, and they're wondering, how do you outreach to other groups to kind of make friends, network, get ideas, share techniques, share locations? Maybe they could help you get into a location. The best way to do it in this day and age is just research on Facebook the different paranormal groups, or maybe even find a paranormal society on like a website that kind of lists the groups. Search social media to see if they're there, if they're distributing their content on those different social medias, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and just reach out. The best way is just doing a direct message. I'm sure they'll get back to you, and just, do the normal networking thing. Hey, we're a group. We've been around for 2 months, 6 months, 1 year, 3 years. Look, we're trying to We're trying to grow. We're trying to meet, other groups, network, make friends, get some advice. No, most paranormal groups are not going to turn you away. They're going to want to help you. They're going to want to help the next in line, and they always want to give advice and help out anyone. Of course, because your group probably would too. So that's one of the greatest ways to grow your group, is to start linking up with other groups, share your ideas, share your techniques. Hey, where have you been? Especially if you're kind of close or local, you may be like in the same state. They can give you some good ideas of, well, you should check out this reformatory, or you should check out this hospital. And I've went there. I know the people. I could probably get you in, maybe even for a deal. That's why we network. So again, the best way to do it, there's some paranormal societies online, or just doing some searches on Facebook to see if there's any paranormal groups within your vicinity. If we're trying to grow a group, one of the ways you can do that, especially with evidence review, is make sure that you have like a shared drive, which means you have all of your files on maybe some hard drives. How do you upload them? What's the best way? Well, for our group, we decided to use Google Drive. It was the most cost effective for the amount of terabytes that we wanted. And of course, when we go and download all of the evidence to our hard drives, we can go ahead and upload them so other people can look at the video, look at the photos, listen to the audio, and then of course do some evidence review on their own, because, divide and conquer here. But what you want to do is, I'd always recommend Google Drive, because, they're probably the biggest, and that way they're the most cost effective. They're probably the most secure. You can always do your research to make sure you find the perfect shared drive for you, and then you can go ahead and use those to store evidence in case something happens to your hard drive. You have a backup, and it's so easy to share with your members. We feel that if you're trying to grow your group, this is a great way to help out for evidence review, as well as just in general, be a little more secure, back up your files, and you can access them anywhere. So it's a great way to grow your group. What do you do when a client or someone you're going to the house wants you to cleanse or sage their house? I truly believe, as investigators, you should make it clear that you do the investigations, and if you want any cleansing, or what did I put here? Cleansing, get rid or cleanse themselves. Yeah, cleansing their house. I mean, first off, just a general question for you. I mean, do you cleanse other people's houses? Do you cleanse other people? Do you cleanse people in your own group? For me, because I'm more grounded than I am, not spiritual, but, like an empath, or, not empathic, but, man, I can't think of the word. But because I'm more grounded, I would much rather leave it to a psychic or a medium. And that way they can deal with it. You can, of course, learn to sage yourself, but if it's someone's house, I would want them to sage properly. I would want them to cleanse properly. So many people have so many different ways of how to cleanse, how they sage. There's so many ways to do it, but you want to make sure that your group has something. Someone that you can point them towards if they feel like they need to sage themselves, if they need to sage their house, cleanse, or even like a client, like if you're going to their home, doing investigation, you find some evidence, you give it back to them, and they say, oh, please get rid of this thing. Oh, please help me cleanse my house. You want to make sure you have a psychic or a medium, sensitive, that's the word I was thinking of. Like a sensitive that knows these techniques to try and help cleanse or get rid of what's in the house. But I always like to separate it. We're here to do the investigation, and here's like a separate entity to go ahead and do that. But if it's for your own members, I'd make sure you have someone to direct them to. But that's why we always do protection prayers before and after. But we want to know, what do you guys do? That's always a good question. So, and lastly here, we're talking about supporting local, historical societies or buildings. I think today, you're going to find that a lot of people are running into some issues, some real issues with going bankrupt or not having enough funding or not enough business, especially in the pandemic. So, I mean, do you guys have that same experience? Because I know a location that I've been to twice when I ran my college group, and it went bankrupt and got bought back out, and then now it actually had to close down. And you always see so many different places doing that. So, I mean, my response is, let's get more people involved in the paranormal. Let's go get more people involved in these once in a lifetime experiences. Like, let's go get them paranormal investigating, right? That's what's on my mind. That's what I want to do. And that's my solution, getting the word out there, reaching out. Hey, maybe we can't do $300 or $400, but because we're such a young group, we don't have quote unquote steady jobs. We're able to give you $100, $200. If you give us a month's notice on a really, really non-busy night, maybe we can have it for $100 or $200 instead of $300 or $400. And just put that out there, swing the bat, That way you can give them some kind of business, even if you can't afford it. Otherwise, just continue to try and get more people in the paranormal community, get them more in this hobby that we have, just to support those local groups, because a lot of them are nonprofit. They're just trying to keep their doors open and survive. So, but what are your thoughts? Go ahead and leave them in the comments. That was a ton of questions, and I wanted to fast fire through there again. Let me go ahead and touch on the investigation we did in October. 10/10/2020. We're going back to the nunnery. We went to the school. It was fantastic. We had, I think, 12 people, 2 teams of 6. I think that's what we had, and it was honestly a blast. Very, very thankful, and what a blessing it was to have those individuals come with us. Yeah, it was a good time. There were tunnels. We were in the tunnels. It was so magical. But thank you again so much for everyone that went. We're going to have a great time for these next 3 investigations. We're going back to 2 private residences, and we're going to go back to the nunnery and school grounds and the tunnels, of course, since we have the keys. So, what can you expect from your paranormal going forward? More of a dedication to this. I want to sit down. I want to talk to you guys. I want to answer some questions, kind of long form. I want to be able to cut it up and make it consumable to everyone for Paranormal 101, Paranormal 201, Paranormal Hot Topics. I want to make it consumable to everyone. But if you're just trying to sit down and listen to this in the background, or just trying to get some paranormal, going through, hey, let's have someone talk about the paranormal for a little bit. We want this to be your place as well. So, Scary Game Saturday, still going on. Still strong as ever. We're so excited. And remember, the Scary Game Championship's coming back. You gotta get excited about this. It is really, really exciting. Soma was a fantastic game. It really talks about, and Francis has his master's in theology. And of course, I have my bachelor's in business administration. So I'm more about organization, trying to understand every little, nook and cranny. So I can see the big picture. And he has crazy amounts of philosophical and theological knowledge. I mean, he knows a lot about morality and the ethics. And together, there were so many little details, so many little nooks and crannies in the micro and the macro of this game. And it's so scary. So real ghost hunters played a real scary game. Let me tell you, it was scary. It was thought provoking. I mean, it had us thinking, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going on in the story? Is this real consciousness? Is this like really ethical? What are our morals here? Like, what do we do? Because there's so many decisions. Do we unplug this? Do we kill this? Oh, it's insane. And you're going to enjoy all of it. On the 14th, number 14 of the Scary Game Championship, we're playing the 15 most scariest games, so we can get this belt. Let me see if I can grab it real quick. Oh, jeez. All right. I had a candle there. I didn't want to do anything, but so listen, Scary Game Championship. We got the Scary Game Championship belt right here. We're going to be wearing this. We're going to be, holding this on our shoulder, wrapped around our waist when we beat all 15 games. We're excited about it. 1 down, 14 to go. We just did number 14, like I said, so I just got to edit it. But yeah, listen, Your Paranormal is stronger than ever, okay? We've got exciting things coming up. We're so pumped. We're so enthusiastic. We're going to do more breakdowns of the investigations. I have like 12 investigations to go down. And I want to drill in to show you every technique. Okay? I really want to show off what's going on here. How we're doing investigations. It's just overall such an exciting time to be a part of Your Paranormal. I wanted to come here today, let you know that we appreciate all of you. We hope you have a fantastic day. It's the start of your weekend. Have a fantastic weekend, my friends. And we'll be talking soon. Your Paranormal out. Bye, everyone. Oh, no!
Wow, dude,
something's wrong.
Yeah.
Don't discredit me for not doing nothing.
Oh.
What?
Zach,
What?
I don't know. You hear that?
Scary Games Saturday. Real ghost hunters play real scary games.